A movie about always looking towards the horizon, as long as the horizon's not in the middle of the frame. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainely Movies. As part of my coverage of the 2022 Toronto International Film Festival, today I'm going to be talking about the 2022 coming-of-age drama, The Fabelmans, which will be released in theaters on November 23rd. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for a variety of movie-related content like reviews, rank lists, and trailer reactions. All my reviews include a breakdown of the pros and cons, my rating, and some tailored film recommendations, so be sure to watch through to the end of this video for all of that extra content. The Fabelmans stars Gabriel, LaBelle, Michelle Williams, and Paul Dano, and was directed by Steven Spielberg. Based on Spielberg's own life, it tells the story of aspiring filmmaker Sammy Fabelman, who must navigate family issues and growing up while maintaining his passion for film. They say that life imitates art, but life also inspires art, and that's certainly the case here with The Fabelmans. Steven Spielberg's latest film is a semi-autobiographical tale. The names have been changed, the events embellished and rearranged, and everything's presented through a nostalgic cinematic lens. But The Fabelmans tells the story of Spielberg's life, or at least a very formative period of it. Spielberg has made many types of movies over his now 5-decade-long career, but he's perhaps best known for his memorable and, frankly, iconic blockbusters. Jaws, Indiana Jones, E.T., Jurassic Park, and countless others, all from one man, making him a household name. Even people who don't watch movies know the name Steven Spielberg. But this movie's different from anything he's done before. It's easily his most personal film, a memory-soaked coming-of-age story focusing on family drama and, of course, filmmaking. Since this is essentially a Spielberg autobiography, it seems only appropriate to start by talking about this movie's focus on film, both filmmaking and film loving. Anytime there's a movie about movies, seemingly everybody and their mom describe it as a love letter to cinema. This is definitely one of those movies that's gonna have that description applied to it. Deservedly so. It is a love letter to cinema, but perhaps even more so, it's a thank you note to cinema. This film explores the catalyst for movie loving and the spark that ignites the passion for filmmaking. It acknowledges the therapeutic and cathartic nature of movies, how they can be used as an entertaining escape, but also a creative outlet. This film spends a good deal of time focusing on the process of movie making, but unlike most films about film, this doesn't take place behind the scenes on some big movie set or focus on an established director making his magnum opus. It's about a kid who loves to make movies. We see Sammy's humble beginnings, filming his train set with his dad's camera, and watch as he gets older, progressively honing his directorial skills, coming up with creative special effects, getting the most out of his actors, even screening his movies at school. This whole amateur film production side of things is really enjoyable for us movie nerds, watching Sammy edit his films or upgrade his camera and gear over the years. But the film centricity of this movie goes beyond the technical stuff. Again, life inspires art, even within this film. So we get to see Sammy's creative process and how he's always drawing inspiration from everything going on around him. That's fun to watch and piece together in the movie, but it's also profound, because that's what filmmaking's about. Life has a massive impact on Sammy's films, but film also has a massive impact on his life. The Fabelmans is about movies and filmmaking, but that film side of things is largely contextual, providing a framework for a broader coming-of-age story. In the midst of all this nostalgic movie love, we're also treated to a story about family. Some of this is very heartwarming and funny, with plenty of little anecdotal details that clearly come directly from Spielberg's memories. But we also see an awful lot of family drama, secrets that threaten to destroy things, deteriorating relationships. This movie's as heartbreaking as it is heartwarming. Even though it's a very specific personal story, it has broadly relatable elements to it, as most coming-of-age stories do. It's about the various parts of growing up, navigating increasing tension at home, trying to find where you fit in at school, all the while sticking with what you're passionate about. And in Sammy's case, that passion is film, and it's the glue that holds his life and this movie together. It probably comes as no surprise to anyone, but this is a very well-made film. It is a Spielberg movie after all, and although it's different from anything he's made before, it still has that Spielbergian touch and nostalgic Amblin feel to it. It's perhaps a tad overlong and occasionally meanders, but it's never boring and won't have you checking your watch. It features another classic score by John Williams, reportedly one of his last, and also has a great ensemble cast. There are some minor cameos, and might as well be cameos, that are fun, but the core cast feature the best performances. Paul Dano is great as the lovable but habitually overly technical father, and Gabriel LaBelle does an excellent job carrying such a big film on his relatively inexperienced shoulders. But it's Michelle Williams who really dazzles here as Sammy's mom, Mitzi Fabelman. The Fabelmans is a wonderful autobiographical time capsule of memories. Even though it'll likely resonate and connect with people on many different levels, and is bound to be a critical darling and a big awards contender, this movie feels like a film that Spielberg made for himself more than anything or anybody else. As we see in the movie with Sammy's filmmaking process, making movies is as much of a therapeutic outlet for him as it is a creative one. It's his way of processing the events in his life, and since Sammy is Steven, this very personal story serves that same purpose for Spielberg. It's also a message to film lovers and aspiring filmmakers. This is less a love letter to cinema than it is an encouraging note to anybody in need of an inspirational push to follow their passion, whatever it may be. Alright, let's talk about the pros and cons. Pro number one has got to be the performances. When it comes to the performances in this film, there's a wide range of experience and also a wide range of screen time. The two not necessarily directly proportional to each other, with some of the most established and well-known stars in mere cameos, and the lead role falling to a relative newcomer. But the performances are really good across the board. The smaller appearances by people like Judd Hirsch and David Lynch are memorable, but it's the core cast that truly shine. Seth Rogen was the most perplexing casting choice to me originally, but he does a great job as family friend Benny. Paul Dano also does a wonderful job as the Fabelman patriarch, Bert, even if it's initially a little strange to see him in a fatherly role. This is definitely going to be the breakout performance for Gabriel LaBelle, who portrays the teenage version of the protagonist for the majority of the film. But it's Michelle Williams as Mitzi Fabelman who's the standout here, playing a very important role in the story and doing so expertly and believably. The second pro is what I'm going to call this movie's love of film. That might be a bit of a weird way to put it, but the affection that this film shows for movies is wonderful for any film lover. Film is a focus here. Sammy loves movies and finds an escape in them, both watching them and making them. Any film fan can tell you the movies that really capture the essence of what it means to be a film lover. And this is one of them, complete with multiple scenes of characters in movie theaters, dazzled faces lit by the screen's glow. But this film goes beyond that, showing the process and joys of amateur filmmaking. The editing, the period-accurate equipment, the pride that comes from completing and showing a short film. There's more to the story than just movies, but the film centricity will resonate with a lot of movie lovers. On the con side, my only issue is that this film tends to meander. It's a relatively minor issue, but the movie did occasionally feel a bit meandering. Part of this is a consequence of the structure. It's a story that spans roughly 11 years, and is sort of based on a true story, so like any biopic, it has to pick and choose life events to showcase. It's also a memoir of sorts, composed of Spielberg's memories and things he deemed important or formative enough to show us, so the time jumps and sometimes randomly focused on moments can be chalked up to that type of memory-based structure. That said, certain segments carry on for a little too long, or delve into tangential ideas, making the story feel a bit unfocused. Fittingly, almost like a series of home videos. A little extra trimming here and there probably could have helped tighten things up, and also bring the stretch runtime down a tiny bit. Before I give you my rating and recommendations, I want to remind you that if you're interested in buying The Fabelmans, or any of the other films I mentioned today, I do have affiliate links for all of them in the description below. I get a small commission from anything you buy using one of my links, so I'd really appreciate it if you use them if you're in the market for any of these movies. I'm gonna give The Fabelmans 4 out of 5 paws. It's a nostalgic and personal coming-of-age tale of family and film. Although a tad meandering, this film is driven by some strong performances, including by newcomer Gabriel LaBelle. Heartwarming and heartbreaking, comedy and drama, this autobiographical film explores the catalyst for the filmmaking spark, which will certainly resonate with movie lovers everywhere. I would recommend The Fabelmans to people who like coming-of-age stories, especially family-centric ones that span several years. Spielberg fans will also like the typical Spielbergian movie magic and appreciate the personal nature of the story. And any filmmaker, aspiring filmmaker, or even just movie fan will really enjoy the film centricity of this movie, as well as what it has to say about the importance and power of movies. If you liked The Fabelmans, I would recommend Cinema Paradiso. This is another director coming-of-age story, framed by passion and love for movies. If you're interested in another recent semi-autobiographical film, you might want to check out Belfast. Although it's not a film-centric story, it is based on director Kenneth Branagh's childhood in Northern Ireland. And if you're interested in another Steven Spielberg film, I would recommend Catch Me If You Can. This is another based on a true story film that spans multiple years and features some tumultuous family drama. Alright, a couple questions for you guys. Number 1, have you seen The Fabelmans? If so, what'd you think of it? And number 2, what's your favorite movie about a character who loves movies? Be sure to leave your answers in the comments below so we can get a discussion going. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insider information out of this review, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainely Movies, the way life should be.